it is Chris Raquel, and I am back again today. I just wanted to check in. I want to talk specifically about how social media is actually destroying relationships and destroying families, I guess you can say. Recently, we've seen in the news where there's been a lot of celebrities, or quite a few, that have been divorcing. One that really stood out to me is a marriage. Obviously, what is put into the forefront in terms of what we actually see as outsiders may or may not be true, but one thing that I'm recognizing is that whether it's relationship coaches or whether it's individuals who have some sort of a brand surrounding their marriage, or even if it's not just a brand, something where we look to it and we say, oh, they have a strong marriage. Sometimes it's not even reality. It may just be that having a nice cookie cutter image, or having a good marriage, or having a perceivably good wife or husband is good for the brand or good for the business. So you have to really analyze everything that you're looking at with your eye, because you'll never know what's really going behind closed doors. And for me, one thing that I want to touch on is social media, and how, like I mentioned, social media is ruining relationships. There are people who look to social media. And when I say social media, that could be, I'm talking more about social media where you can actually see other people. Specifically, I'd say Instagram, Facebook, and even what's the other one? Not Snapchat. I think that one's kind of a little dated now, but TikTok. And one thing that we see is that people are looking to that to get a lot of validation for themselves. It's okay to have a social media. I have a social media, but a lot of times I don't use it, or I'll shut it down, depending, specifically my personal one. But you have to just really be mindful of what you are viewing online, what you're allowing to infiltrate your mind and enter your sites, because a lot of what you're seeing is not reality, and what you see can influence your reality, or influence how you see yourself, influence how you see others around you, influence what you think is true. So you want to just really be mindful. Keep in mind that what people are putting on social media is the best. So most likely what you're actually seeing in an image is the best. So they took a lot of shots to get that image. You may just think, oh wow, they just did one take and then everything was good. No, like they're probably perfecting it until they get what they want. And that specifically, it can become an addiction. There's a celebrity in particular, I'm not going to state the name, but this celebrity, to me, what I noticed is that prior to their divorce, they had posted a lot of different, they started posting a lot of things that to me was gaining attention, like a lot of different reels. And whereas I had not really seen this celebrity before on Instagram, I kind of became bombarded, or I saw like I saw a good reel from them, and I was like, oh wow, okay, they look nice and everything. But then after that, I started getting a lot of them, and in the first reel or two, one of the things that came to mind was, okay, this seems like it's a bit, I'm going to be honest, attention seeking. And I'm not here to judge, that's not what we're here for, but that was just my interpretation of what I felt. And we have to really be careful. No one is perfect. Anybody could potentially become self-seeking. Let's say they have a popular post, and in that case, maybe the marriage was rocky, and maybe that individual wanted to work on that marriage, but then seeing a lot of positivity from people online who are watching them, viewers like me and you, kind of gassing that head up, like, oh, you're amazing, you're this, you're that, you are fabulous, like, and then almost getting, I don't know if this is true or not, but I can imagine what could happen, becoming a little bit cocky, or becoming a little bit obsessive. That could be another side of it. And then from there, thinking that you are so popular, you are doing so wonderfully online, people love you, and that based on what everyone has said about you online, you could, in your head, I could do better than this person over here. And I have no idea what was going on in that marriage and how the individual was treating the celebrity, but it's just something, food for thought, because it made me think when I was watching what was happening prior to the divorce. One of my first thought was, okay, this person seems very attention seeking. I'm not sure, I really don't know, but it seems like it's a lot. And it seemed like it was, I was thinking, one, it's a business, because how the person was acting in the reels to me didn't really seem like them. It could very well be, so nobody get upset at me, but what I was watching, like initially I was like, okay, this doesn't really seem like them, or it seems like it's like them times 10. Like, let's say they're a fun and happy, loving person. It seemed like they were pretending to do that for the video. Like they were like hyping everything up to the point where to me it looked a little annoying. And to the point I think I ended up like unsubscribing. But yeah, we have to be mindful of what we're allowing us, what we're feeding on in terms of our mind, our eyes, and just anything overall, because it can easily start to trickle into how we see things, what we believe, and it's not a good thing. It's 100% wonderful to be confident, but you cannot let confidence turn into arrogance. And keep in mind, if there's people that are watching you, for instance, I know that I'm going to gain followers eventually, and you want people to watch you want people to be interested in you, you want people to help grow your business if you have one, and it's a positive thing, but you can't let how someone else views you or what someone else says about you influence much of anything, honestly, unless it's to better yourself in some way, or let's say someone is calling out some characteristics that maybe you need to work on, then yes, you definitely want to monitor that and see what those individuals are saying. And you want to just keep in mind that not everything that people are saying is true. So if a bunch of people are just hyping another individual up, whether it's a celebrity or not, you have to be mindful. A lot of people are there for flattery. Flattery is not a good thing. People who are saying things, sometimes they're even jealous within themselves. They just wish they were you. So you really, as a celebrity, you don't really want to let what people are saying influence you and kind of like hype you up and, make you think too highly of yourself. Yes, you should think highly of yourself and love yourself and be confident, but you really shouldn't be acting. I just find it interesting that after this stuff seemed to be happening, and then from my perspective, it seemed like it was like a little tension seeking, that kind of thing. It's just interesting that a divorce followed shortly after this person seems to be getting popular online. So just be mindful, because social media is not real. And if you do want to, leave your partner for a reason, mind you, there's really a main reason that you should leave your partner that you can't leave your partner if you believe in the Bible, and that's if there's infidelity, adultery. But if you decide you want to up and leave your spouse, it shouldn't be based on the attention you're seeking online or that you're getting online. Not saying that it happened in this particular situation, but there's been a lot of other situations too. So this just brings me back to the relationship coach. I'm not going to say anything negative about him in particular. However, it's just very sad to me because, one, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know what that relationship was like. However, it's clear to me that this individual, I saw him when he was younger, probably when he early on, when he knew that his wife early on, and he looked a lot different to me. As you know, I'm sure you all know that if a man works out and buffs up, his face becomes more attractive, because I think it's like he's starting to get muscles in different places. That's what it seemed like happened to this gentleman. And when I look at him, although I'm going to be honest, back when I first got to know who he was, my mom used to actually send me videos of him. And something about him didn't really sit right in me. He didn't really seem like he was legitimate to me. no offense towards him, and legitimate as in I don't want to say he was legitimate, because the things that he was saying made sense, and I won't take that away from him. It just seemed like he was saying what he felt he should say to get followers. So a lot of people use their YouTube for as a business. Nothing's wrong with that, but it didn't really seem like he was saying things that seemed very biblical. I don't think he was really saying anything related to the Bible. I can't remember, because it's been so long ago since I even was watching him. It was way before that initial scandal that I even watched him, and it just I wasn't too interested. Just I felt like the clothing he wore, I felt like it was very fitted for somebody who wasn't single, and someone who was like trying to help women, single women at that. A lot of them being single, I should say. But nothing against him. Not saying that you can't wear form-fitting clothes. Just like the combination to me seemed a little bit. It wasn't something that I was interested in. So once again, nothing against him. But you have to be mindful, because that individual, I can tell that I don't want to say he has confidence issues, but just looking at him, even though he's all buff, he seems like he's a nice looking man. I don't see that he feels that way. I see that he's doing that. I see that his appearance, it doesn't reflect within. So it's understandable. I can see how someone based on how I see him, I can see how he would do what he did, because how I see him, someone who is like that, based on what I see through my eyes, they would end up cheating on their spouse, because they need that attention. And in regard to that, I really do feel for his wife. I think she seems like she really did care for him and love him. I'm not sure for sure like what the motives are. It could just be to keep the family together. Someone else could say it's for something else. I can't speculate too much there, but she and he signed up to be married, and for whatever reason they've stuck together, even though there's been infidelity, and but the Bible does say you can divorce for infidelity. That's their choice. That they decided not to, but I don't think anyone can say, oh, she needed to divorce him, she did because she didn't divorce him, she's this or that. No, that's her choice if she wants to do that. I don't know what her reasons are. It could be for love. It could be to honor God. It could be to ensure that he maintains his success, because he's going to help the family. But for whatever reason, that's no reason, I don't think, to like make fun of her, talk about her, and anything like that. I think that's really ridiculous, and I can just imagine how hurt she could be, and I can see why that she made that prayer. I can see she has some very powerful prayers, but it to me, it didn't seem like although I can understand where she's coming from and how she feels hurt, and when I listened to that prayer, it seemed like she was talking to specific people who were mocking her. I remember she said that. So yeah, I mean, I just think in something like that, we need to be mindful. One, I don't think anybody should be making fun of her in terms of what she had on her head and like a bonnet. Like, to me, I just saw it as a woman who, she was in her home. They're not going through a good situation, so she's not going to go on camera, or she's going to go on camera, but she's not going to do anything in terms of putting on a bunch of makeup, taking out whatever protective style she had under her cap. And I didn't see anything wrong with it. I don't see why anyone would talk bad about her at all. She has a right to stay in her marriage if she wanted to at the time, even though they're going through a divorce right now. But I don't think there's any reason to say anything negative against her at all. In terms of him, I think all we can do is actually just pray for him. Pray for anyone who's going through something like this. And just keep in mind, prayers and all, you want to approach people with love. It's not here to make fun of people, but keep in mind, if you're going to proclaim God, like I said, I'm not 100% sure if he was or not, but you are walking on eggshells, or no, you're walking on a thin line here. You cannot proclaim the word of God and then go and then do, or like say you're a relationship coach for, you're in a marriage, and then you're doing things, you're talking against, I think it was Charlemagne the God, I can't remember, but he I think this individual had said things to him about his behavior, others people behavior, just based on the video that I saw of Charlemagne. And then this is like the initial scandal. And yeah, like you cannot, honestly, that's mocking God by doing those things, and then just acting like you're holier than thou, you're perfect. No one is perfect, everyone makes mistakes. But to me, if you're gonna do that relationship coaching thing, you need to really be, if you're a Christian, really be in God, really be in the Word, and just always make sure that you have support systems around you, because this is God here. You're talking about this relationship. This is your business. Even if you're not a Christian, your focus is this relationship. So your duty is going to be to maintain that relationship. This shows me that maybe he fell because his past history, how he was before, how he viewed himself, maybe caused him to fall. But this next time around, this type of thing is like you're really playing in the face of God, doing those type of things, and God will not be mocked. God, you're trying to help women, but then now you're putting a bad taste in women's mouth. I don't know, I could even say millions of followers. I don't know how many followers he had. I'm sure he lost a ton after the first scandal and maybe the second, but I mean, I'm sure he has some loyal followers as well. But you're not going to play in the face of God. God is not going to allow a brand to be successful if you're continually doing these bad things that are not what you're talking about, what you're preaching. No one is perfect, of course not, but we just have to be mindful, because all his followers, millions of followers, or thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers, you're hurting them, because they're putting faith in what you're saying. Obviously you can't put faith in man, but they're listening to you. They could have been broken, they need some advice, and they're looking to you as an example of what they can have in a relationship. But then you're doing these things behind closed doors. So I mean, like I said, all we can do is pray for them, pray for his wife, pray for him, and then pray for any of the other celebrities that I mentioned that are going through a divorce. That's really all we can do. But we have to know that we know, especially when you know what's right or wrong. So somebody like that who's preaching all these things, to then come back and just behave this way, it's not okay. So I hope he gets it together. Just being honest, like I wouldn't be, I mean, mind you, I was never really his watcher. Like I just knew of him when my mother would send me some of his videos, and I just wasn't into it. But he could potentially lose a lot of followers, and it just makes people maybe sick to their stomach, because then they start lumping in all different people into this category. So you want to just be mindful. You don't want to make attention go to your head, whether it's from social media. If you need to disconnect from Facebook, from Instagram, from TikTok, you really should do so, and just like see how things go. Me personally, I like to use my Instagram. I like to post things that helps me remember things later on. Like for instance, my fiance loves to send me flowers, or bring me flowers whenever I see him, and I like to post them there, and I have a little highlight folder where I can put all those things. So I like to go back. So I think to myself, oh, these people are probably so annoyed with me posting all my flowers over and over, but I love it because I get to go back and I put in my highlights. But I occasionally delete and deactivate, I deactivate my Instagram, I deactivate my Facebook often. You really want to do it, because if you have an issue with doing that, that's a problem. I haven't done it recently. There was even a point in time where I would just turn my phone off for the whole day, like just to not use it at all. But now, like, my mom is accustomed to talking to me every day. My younger sister is as well. So yeah, but you want to just be okay with not being on the social media networks. You want to make sure that you're feeding your mind with important things. You can watch documentaries, you can listen to podcasts that are educational, but you just want to really make sure that you are using your time wisely. If you're here to start a business, you want to make sure that you're using that time for starting a business, not that you're playing around on Instagram, watching different women who are leveled up, watching people for their hair, makeup tutorials, outfits. Yes, that's okay, but that should not be an obsession. Being obsessed will destroy your relationships. And then one thing I want to mention about that last celebrity relationship coach that I mentioned, the woman that I saw that he was been talking to most recently looks absolutely nothing like the wife. And not even appearance wise, because I think that they're similar in like attractiveness for their face. But obviously the new individual, she looks younger, and she looks, she wears more makeup. But in terms of like their aesthetic, their appearance, like nails completely different, style of clothing different, amount of revealingness completely different. So it really makes me wonder, because he had this image to me I thought was like more cookie cutter in terms of what a relationship needs to stand. Well, okay, I didn't watch him too much, but I assumed it was more cookie cutter. Or okay, no, scratch that. His wife looks more wholesome, I should say, cookie cutter image. Not saying that she is, but she's a Christian. Not saying that she's like a cookie cutter woman, but she seemed more covered up, like more what's the word? Modest in dressing. And this other person that I saw was like showing a lot of skin, and not like just skin as in like, okay, wearing short sleeve tops, wearing shorts. Like it was like showing, I think, I could say butt cheeks, and like a lot of deep plunge, and then like long nails. I think they were like maybe this long, like super long, and like bright colored. Not gonna lie, I love me a bright nail, like a neon yellow, neon green nail. But it just it just seemed very different, and that look. If you look her up, that look is associated with something, right? It's associated with more, not just saying the nails, but overall. She had the lashes, she had the long weave, I think it was like lace fronts, like showing butt cheeks, deep plunge. And it wasn't just like one photo, it was like a lot of her photos. They both are attractive to me, honestly. Just that one is younger, wears a lot of makeup, more flashy in dress, and like she's taller too. Yeah, it just made me wonder. I'm like, okay, so it's like it's almost like he was with this woman, but then now a lot of women approached him, but he needs to recognize that these women would not have approached, only approaching him because of his status and what he has. So you can't let what people think about you make you start changing up. You have a wife, your duty is to her. Yeah, but just wanted to stop in and just connect with you all. If you have any questions, reach out to me at krystalracquelspeaks at gmail.com, and I will get back to you and I'll actually do videos about it. So continue to make your requests with me. There is no issue. I am loving the requests. I haven't been getting many, but just send me whatever you want in that email, and I will I'll make a video about it. Also, feel free to leave any comments below. That's helpful. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I will be back again. But yeah, do not let social media destroy your relationships. It's temporary. A lot of it's not real, and you could have a good thing. All right. Well, thank you. Have a good night.